When the earth starts to settle, God throws a stone at it. And believe me, he's winding up.
So, hi everybody, how you doing? Been a minute. I want to talk about this stabbing at the track meet with this Karmelo Anthony kid and Austin. Fucking terrible with names. Anyways, McCaffrey. Anyways, so what do we realistically know as of right now? Track meet at a school in Texas. Fresco, right? Frisco, whatever. Track meet at a school. And kid, black kid, because stupidly enough it's important to this story. Black kid is sitting in the tent of the rival school, right? Kids from the school go to their tent, see a kid not from their school in the tent, say, hey man, you gotta go. This ain't your tent. Kid says, I'm not going. Why don't you touch me? See what happens. So kid touches him. Why don't you leave? Kid says, why don't you punch me? See what happens. Something happens. There's an altercation. Kid reaches for his bag. Other kid reaches for the bag. Goes to push him out. Whatever. Some sort of tussle ensues. Yes? And black kid stabs the white kid in the heart. Kills him. Runs away. Later on, he turns himself into the police or gets caught, whatever, and says, yeah, I did it. Can I claim self-defense? That is the story, as far as I am aware, to this point. Sorry. Had to get a little drink. Anyways. So, that is where we are at this point. That has happened. Now, what are my thoughts? Taking the entirety of the situation of race out of it, because I don't believe that it played a part in this. And if it did play a part in this, I don't care, because the points I'm going to address don't involve anything involving race. It's a moot point. So, kid goes to a track meet. Purposefully goes and sits in the opposing school's tent. Right? I saw the tent. I saw the picture of the tent. It is a tent with a giant fucking logo of the school on it. This kid, having not going to that school, I mean, maybe he was confused and thought, oh yeah, that's the school I go to. I don't know. But for whatever reason, he decided to sit in that tent. Right? Has his own tent to sit in. Sits in theirs. Right? This is what I'm guessing. Because why would there just be one tent at the school? Like, what the fuck? So I imagine that there were other tents, but he sat in that tent for that school. He did that. Right? That right there is a fault. Right? He's sitting in the wrong tent. Kid comes up and says, hey, guy here, it's our tent. Then what you do in that situation is you go, I'm sorry, and you get your shit and you leave. You just leave the tent because you're not supposed to be there anyways. Right? That should be how the situation should have played out, and not a one of us should be talking about it at all, and neither of those kids should be going to either jail or the grave. Like, that's it. You're in the wrong tent. Sorry. You leave. If it would have been me, black or white, if I were a black man, black 17-year-old, sitting in the wrong tent, and some white devil motherfucker comes up and tells me to leave, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go, I'm sorry, and I'm going to get up and leave. Because if I'm a black 17-year-old kid, I don't want problems. And if I'm a white 17-year-old kid, you want to know what? I don't want problems. But if I'm a white 17-year-old kid and there's a kid from the other track team or from the other track team school sitting in my tent, and I'm about to start doing whatever in the tent, get out of the tent. This isn't your tent. And I believe he had the right to say, this isn't your tent. Leave. Because it wasn't his tent. Like, that's it. Like that right there. Black or white. Doesn't matter. This isn't your tent. You go. If the white kid would have been sitting in his tent and he'd have come up and said, you gotta go, then he's gotta go. There's no race involved in it. None of this fucking matters. What matters is he was in the tent. He should have been in the tent. So you go. That's it. But this kid decided he didn't want to do that. I ain't leaving. So he is now inviting problems. He has said, I see the option to not have a problem, and I'm going to let that option pass me by, and I'm going to go with option B. Come fucking find out. Alright. So now we got problems. Right? Now, this kid knows he's got a knife in his backpack. And so he says, come at me, bro. Knowing that if at any point I start to lose, I can win real quick. So he's picking a fight with the full knowledge that he is carrying a weapon. And most likely with the full knowledge that since weapons are not allowed on campuses all across this country, because I don't know if people have realized it or not, but amazingly enough, every once in a while, some people get guns and go to schools and shoot people. Like, that kind of happens in this country now. So I don't think it's absurd to believe that there was most likely a rule, or if not a law, of no weapons on the campus. But he had a weapon. He knew he had a weapon. And he's picking a fight. Come touch me. Invitation accepted. Touch. Get out of the tent. He reaches into his bag to grab the knife. The other kids kind of probably see this and go, bitch, you ain't got shit. Get out. And he had shit. And he used his shit. Now, I saw the mugshot. He looked fine. There was no swollen eye, no busted lip, no fucked up cheek, no cuts, no bruises. He looked fine. So, in Texas, I believe that they have kind of a appropriate force type of thing, right? If you believe that you are in imminent danger, then you are allowed to use lethal force. If you feel it's necessary, then you do it. But that is really kind of an opinion statement, isn't it? Right? We've got a black kid sitting in a white kid's tent, and X amount of white kids, and only the one black kid, but the black kid's got a knife, and the black kid's picking a fight. So, to some degree, this was invited. To some degree, it can absolutely be argued in court. And look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a human being who can see things and fucking pretend that there isn't a searing drive for racism in every human being in the world and blame everything on that. I can look at kid in wrong tent, told to leave, stabs kid. Right? I can see the chain of events play out here as to witness statements and as to what was said by kid in question. I did it. Can I take self-defense? You can try. But I don't think that's going to work. The only way it's going to work is if this kid gets a BLM lawyer and gets BLM all involved, and they just intimidate and terrorize the country through violence to the point where this kid walks fucking as a murderer. Like as a straight up murderer, and he's just gonna walk. And man, it ain't fucking 1995 anymore. It ain't 95 anymore. So, that's gonna be interesting if that happens. Luckily for us, though, the kid has gotten himself a BLM lawyer, and of course BLM is very much involved in this. So, we'll see how things play out. But at the end of the day, no matter what happens, a kid lost his life because another kid refused to leave a tent. Like, when you boil it down to the root, the kid was in the wrong tent, was told to leave, and another kid died because he didn't want to. Notice how I didn't use any racial language in there because it doesn't matter. A kid was in a tent that he didn't belong in, was told to leave, and because he didn't want to, another kid died. This is a sad story. This isn't fun. This is stupid. But at the end of the day, let's go ahead and speculate. Let's see where it goes. What happens if, under interrogation, this kid says, look, I brought the knife to the school because I was going to kill one of those white motherfuckers. Let's just say that it's the absolute worst thing it could possibly be, and there it is. That shit ain't going to go over well. Like, that's not going to go over well. Bad things are going to happen because of that. Right? Like, does anybody see that playing out well? Yeah, me neither. So, that could be one of the worst fucking things to happen. And, right? There it is. What's the other end of the spectrum? Let's say that kid seriously didn't do nothing. And this other kid has been picking on him for years, has known him for years, and is always fucking with him, and it's always this racial thing, and that kid's just a racist bully, and it's just the worst. This poor kid felt that he was so threatened and everything was so awful that he had to bring a knife to defend himself because he knew that this large group of white kids was gonna jump him. And they were threatening him and pushing him around, and it was bad, and he just panicked. Let's say that's the truth. Does that get any better? Right? We see it being better that way? That ain't good either. But let's cut it in the middle and go by the bare bone facts as we know it. Let's say that this is the legit story, this is what happened, and That is it. There's nothing else to add or subtract from it as far as we know it right now. Kid was in the tent he didn't belong in. Was told to leave. Didn't want to leave. Goaded the other kid into attacking him. And then he stabbed him. As it stands, by what we know, by witness testimony, that's what it is. So unless cell phone footage of it shows up, which maybe, or somebody else has some sort of testimony that's rock solid that they're all lying, this is what really happened, and they got 50 people that saw it. I don't know. That, like, but if this is the evidence we got, then that's the evidence we got. Kid was in the tent he didn't belong in. Was told to leave. Didn't want to leave. And because he didn't want to leave, another kid died. If people honestly think that this kid is going to get a self-defense plea to go over, you're wrong. Like, I'm just going to tell you right now. This is my prediction of the future. You're wrong. That ain't going to happen. This kid's going to jail. Unless, of course, BLM decides to terrorize the country until it concedes. Until the court in Texas or wherever this is going to wind up taking place, until they, enough jurors are threatened and whatnot else and all this, that, and the other. Like, and the kid's going to walk. Either way, none of it's good. Because at the end of the day, a kid died. Because another kid didn't want to leave a tent that he didn't belong in. No matter what, this is all just bad. And I think that we should focus more on why it is that a kid had to die. Why it is that we had to have a stabbing like this. Why it is that this needed to happen. I think that is something that needs to be more focused on. We need to find out if maybe this kid was a severe bully and was fucking with this kid all the time. Because that's a problem that we can, I don't know, try and do something about. Or, if this kid went there with a knife saying, I'm going to stab a motherfucker today, we need to know that too. Because we need to try and, I don't know, do something about that too. But, what? Like, I just did an hour and 15-minute video that I think is entirely possible could be relevant to this case. What has this kid been watching on fucking YouTube his whole life? How is it that this ever came to be a thing in the first place? What kind of media has this kid been consuming for the last 10 years? But at the end of the day, is this in any way really unusual? No. People kill people all the time. And unfortunately enough, it's not even unusual in the respect that it's a kid killing another kid in the classroom. Or, well, not in a classroom, but at a school. Because we have that shit happening all the time now too. I think this problem is a lot deeper than the skin.